Victoria became our manager 3 years ago. On her very first day, she called a meeting and announced what she proudly referred to as her signature policy. Family emergencies are not excuses to leave work, she said. Your personal life stays personal. If you can't separate the two, you don't belong at Patterson and Mills. Tom raised his hand. What about medical emergencies? Did I stutter? Victoria smiled, like she'd just solved world hunger. No emergencies. You're adults. Plan accordingly. The policy was formalized soon after. Employee Handbook, Section 4.7. Employees who leave the premises for personal reasons during work hours will be subject to immediate termination. The first victim was Aisha. Her daughter's school called. She'd fallen on the playground, possible concussion. An ambulance was on the way. Aisha grabbed her purse and headed for the door. Victoria stepped in front of her. Where do you think you're going? My daughter's hurt. So call your husband. He's deployed overseas. Then call a neighbor. You have a presentation in an hour. Aisha went anyway. Victoria fired her the next morning. Company policy, no exceptions. Over the next 2 years, 11 people were fired the same way. Brian, his father had a stroke, fired. Melissa, her son broke his arm, fired. David, his wife went into premature labor, fired. We learned not to answer our phones during work hours. We checked messages in bathroom stalls, hearts pounding, praying nothing was wrong. I missed my brother's call when he totaled his car. I didn't find out until 6 hours later. Victoria loved reminding us how professional we'd become. See, you can function without running home every time someone stubs a toe. Last month at 2:15 p.m., the office phone rang. Is Victoria available? A man asked. She's in a meeting. It's urgent. It's about our son. Please. I transferred the call. 30 seconds later, Victoria burst out of the conference room. Her face was gray. She grabbed her coat. Family emergency, she said. I'll be back in an hour. I stood. Victoria. She didn't stop. Not now. She was already at the elevator. I looked at Tom. He looked at me. We both looked at our screens. At Section 4.7, the policy Victoria herself had written. She came back 4 hours later. Her eyes were red. Her shirt was wrinkled. She looked destroyed. The next morning, Tom knocked on her office door. The rest of us waited at our desks. We'd spent all night on a group chat, making sure we were united. Victoria, we need to discuss yesterday. Not now. You left work for a family emergency. My son was in the hospital. Company policy clearly states my son could have died. Tom placed a printed copy of the handbook on her desk. Section 4.7, you fired 11 people for violating this. This is different. How? Because it is. I walked over with my laptop and opened the email she'd sent David when she fired him. I read it aloud. Personal emergencies do not supersede professional obligations. By leaving the premises, you have demonstrated an inability to prioritize appropriately. Victoria's hands shook. You're seriously throwing my own words back at me? You threw them at us, Tom said. For 3 years. My son was in a car accident. He needed me. I thought of Aisha's daughter with a concussion, Brian's father having a stroke alone, David missing his son's birth. Did you call your husband? I asked. Her face went purple. What? That's what you told Aisha to do, even though hers was deployed overseas. This is completely different. That's what they all said, too, Tom replied. An hour later, HR arrived. Victoria filed a complaint against us for insubordination and harassment. We filed one against her for policy violation. All 12 of us, with emails, timestamps, witness statements, and documentation from the 11 people she'd fired. The HR director sat in the conference room, reading quietly. "This policy," she tapped the handbook, "applies to everyone, or no one. Obviously, there are circumstances. A child with a concussion is a circumstance." Victoria opened her mouth. Nothing came out. "Based on Section 4.7, which you authored and consistently enforced, you violated company policy by leaving the premises yesterday." "You're not seriously. You are terminated, effective immediately." Victoria packed her desk in 17 minutes. She didn't speak to anyone. On her way out, she stopped at my desk. "You could have just let it go." I looked at the photo of my brother on my desk, the one taken in the hospital after his accident, the one I missed. "Company policy," I said.